Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo rSlash ChoosingBeggars. So our story for today is from u/slash Nova Lou, with the title of After spending money and a week of my time on a friend's wedding, she confronts me about the gift. My husband was asked to be the best man at his longtime best friend's wedding. We didn't get along super great with his fiancé, but they were a package deal, and of course we wanted to show support. My husband and I live in a major city, and his friend lives in a small town a few hours away. So when it came time for the wedding clothes shopping, they came into the city and stayed with us. The friend, his fiancé, her best friend forever, and her mom. The fiancé invited me to go with them to pick out a wedding dress or bridesmaids' dresses. As I was the only one not in the bridal party, I thought just to be inclusive. I went along, and after everything was picked out, the fiancé put her nose about an inch away from my nose and said, "Will you be one of my bridesmaids?" I was caught really off guard, and it felt like I had no choice but to say yes. The girl is the kind of person who gets her feelings hurt anytime she hears no. Like, even if she invites you into something with no notice and you already had plans, if you say no, it's going to be weeks of drama and pouting. So I stammered something about how flattered I was, and suddenly I was stuffed into a mermaid green monstrosity of a bridesmaid's dress. When it came time to pay for the dresses, I was told that we were expected to buy our own dress. The dress she had picked for us to wear was about $125. This was an unexpected expense, but I kinda signed and pulled out my card. Then when they were buying the dress and mother-in-law's dress, their card didn't work. Tried 3 times, declined. So I had to pay, and they said they would hit me back later. So another $450. The best man clothes were also a fiasco. The groom decided on a formal tuxedos with tails and top hats. The rental on that ended up being $200 plus $50 for a top hat, which I guess we had to buy and couldn't rent. But that's cool. Totally lots more occasions that would call for a top hat, right? So that was that until the week of the wedding. We bypassed a lot of wedding showers and engagement parties as we're not living in the same era and could not drive down every other week. We did come down the week before for me to attend the bachelorette party and my husband to host the bachelor party, and we stayed till the wedding. I spent about $200 on bachelorette party gifts as another bridesmaid asked me to pick something up for her too, and she wanted me to buy these glass bedroom toys. They were decidedly not cheap. Obviously, she didn't pay me back, and I was getting used to that. The groom is a gamer nerd, so they had a LAN party for the bachelor party. The only expense we ended up fronting for that was alcohol, which ended up being about $300. It became increasingly obvious through the week that no planning had gone into the wedding itself. The city park had been reserved, but no chairs or decoration had been arranged. For the food and the cake, were all going to be DIY. It took an army of everyone involved, aside from the bride and groom of course, to make all the finger sandwiches, baby kikas, mini cheesecakes, and other nibbles required. It was the height of summer in the south, and hauling 100 folding chairs and stringling twinkle lights and flowers in above 100-degree weather was indescribably frustrating. Nobody in their right mind would plan an outdoor wedding in July in our era and also select ultra-formal clothing. No. The bride was 2 hours late to her own wedding. She had her friend come and do all of our hair, and she expected to be paid $50 each at the end. Money is just hemorrhaging out of me at this point, and I'm in a state of exhaustion and shock that I no longer care. The wedding happens, everyone seems happy. My husband and I were preparing to drag ourselves home to recuperate physically and financially. Then the bride stops me. She grabs my arm. Oh, I think this is where she thanks us for helping to make her big nightmarish day a success. No such luck! She is crying and shaking with anger, and she says, "I guess you didn't get me a wedding present. Just so you know, when someone invites you to a wedding, you're supposed to get them a present." I froze, and I could not close my mouth. "I'm sorry, what?" She got dragged off to take such and such picture, and I was still standing there, failing to compute what had just happened to me. We just left. Couldn't really say bye or anything. I was just so done. The car ride home was so much repeating what had happened to each other and just being at a loss. We needed a lot of time to just process how much of a ride we'd been taken on with no thank you, no apologies, Actually, they were completely ungrateful and thought we'd scam them out of a freaking wedding dress. I feel like I need to add that we are not rich. We're just young working people who basically emptied their bank account to help someone else's wedding not be a complete dumpster fire due to lack of planning. TLDR, my husband and I got recruited into a friend's wedding party and we ended up bankrolling most of it, and somehow they were still mad. I think one of the most amazing suggestions was to make a framed decorative collage of all the receipts and send it to them as a present. XD! For those who are curious about this chick is like, here are some more details. I mentioned we weren't super thrilled about the match, but trying to grin and bear it. For the 6 months they dated before getting married, she alienated him from his friends by not wanting him to go out with his friends and not wanting him to go out without her. I'm not talking staying out all night at the bar. I mean coming over to play a video game together or a board game, watch a movie, etc. She always invited, and that wasn't good enough. His whole life was video games before they got together, and he hasn't played a single game once since his bachelor party because she doesn't play and she only wants to do things together. She also cheated on him and hit him. The beggar's husband also knew about this too. He spent last Thanksgiving with us because she was out of town with a guy and it kinda came out. She kinda just openly cheated. I guess he wants them to have an open relationship all of a sudden, but he has no prospects. We're all just kind of watching a train wreck. The day of the wedding, they were saying they were planning kids right away, even with very little income on his side and her being unwilling to work. She got pregnant like 2 weeks later. Rest in peace, friend. So I think we can safely leave the beggar's husband out of this mess. The only problem I have with him is that, being a man, he should have some more responsibility toward his own freaking wedding, while also putting up with the beggar's toxic behavior like that, as if like she was doing nothing wrong. Okay, you're going to be married with an entitled, greedy, ungrateful woman, then you should at least try to take matters into your own hands and just do it. But nope, they were both very irresponsible. And oh wait, I just remember about the $300 booze. I wonder if Opie's husband willingly paid for that or he got kinda just pushed into it. As for the shameless bride, I personally don't know her, haven't met her yet, but oh boy, I hate her so much just by reading this story. The beggar is kinda bride that is late to her own freaking wedding. At first I thought Opie is just probably filthy rich or something to be able to spend that much cash on someone else's wedding. But no! It hits me really hard that Opie was just like the rest of us average workers who emptied their bank account with the hope that their friends will be happy. Man, people like these are so rare nowadays. Such nice people. Oh gosh, I can cry now. And what did they receive as a result? A big fat slap in the face. I mean, during that situation, Opie could have said like, well, your dress seemed like a pretty generous gift to me. I hope that even after this clown fiesta, Opie still hasn't lost faith in humanity yet and still continue to help out other people. As a side note, I believe that this is the first time I've ever heard about a LAN party bachelor party. Sounds pretty sweet, throwback to the good old days playing Dota or League of Legends. The takeaway from this story is that learn to say no, despite it being really tough sometimes. It will, stop people from taking advantage and exploit you to the core like this. Nothing can be snowballed out of your control if you can just step up and say, hell no, I'm done with this crap and bye-bye, slam the doors. Don't avoid confrontation and bruise your feelings later on. One interesting thing we should look at is that since the stuff that Opie had bought were never meant to be as a gift, she could just deliver all the receipts and invoices to the beggar via handwritten letter or an email or something, and demand the beggar to pay her back. Because, the beggar did promise to pay back her debt. I think the law enforcement will be on Opie's side on this one if it was taken via legal route. It's sure an expensive lesson without a doubt, but it's needed in order to remove those toxic people from your life completely. Doesn't matter how good friends Opie's husband and the groom were before, this will be the new dynamic now. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button and ring the bell, or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us, your friendly neighborhood doggo, your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.